Today, our meeting finally took place. You see, Mr. Wright, our organization is keenly interested in your research. We could reach an agreement to fund this project. But first we need to know the details. I understand. The main factor is the condition of the test subject, how open he is to suggestion. As you know, only the human mind can open the physical passage to the other side. So a complete, absolute darkness will be required for the experience to result. A secluded place, completely isolated. A place that can only bring thoughts of what may be hiding in the dark. I have the perfect location in mind. But in total darkness and seclusion, how could the results of experiment be studied or confirmed? That is precisely where your organization can provide help. I have designed a special device that would allow me to listen from a safe distance, but I lack the means to manufacture it myself. That could be arranged. But there is one last thing I would like to know. How would the experience be triggered? By means of a chemical compound of some kind. Do you mean a serum? Not at all. That would be of no elegance whatsoever. The trigger is the mind itself, the emotion known as terror. The primal fear that still survives in the depths of our mind from the times humans were mere beasts. That which allows us to open a physical passage beyond the veil of rational thought. Primal terror is the key that we will use to open the last door. Could this organization be the Playwright? It may be, my friend. If so, then we are closer to the truth than we thought. But in this room I have been able to find only some fragments of information, discarded material. It looks as if the main bulk of documents were removed from this room and hidden somewhere else. The basement tunnel. That seems the most reasonable conclusion. But access to the place is lost, is it not? The entrance was sealed. There may be another access that we do not know about. If we could find and use the device that the professor mentioned in his log, I believe we could shed some light on this matter. Okay. Yeah, what the hell? Stir in the attic. Work our way down. Ooh! An unusual electronic device. I'm unfamiliar with its function, but I can tell that there is a piece of equipment missing. Good thing I've got an extra piece of equipment for ya. But there we go. I think it will work now. Music. This sound. Do my ears deceive me? Is that a piano melody? I must seek Kaufman at once. Not to state the obvious, but it sounds as if someone is still down there, playing the piano of all things. But how is that even remotely possible? I do not know, but this means something important to us. It's quite all right, good sir. I know where you're coming from. It means that there's another entrance to the underground tunnel, and that we must find it. But we have run out of leads. You did not find anything of use in the archive, and Professor Wright continues to mutter incoherent about childhood memories. You must hypothesize the Professor. Hypnotize the Professor, mein Lieber Freund. We are running out of options. This might be the only way to find the answers we seek. Look at this candle. Fix your eye upon it. Your body is light as a feather. Everything around you fades. You are entering a dark, endless void. Listen to my voice. Where are you? A great number of trees surround me. The sun is setting soon. I can go north and west. I stand among tall trees. They stare at me silently. They have found me guilty. I do not wish to stay here. Go back. I stand beside a waterfall. It is not water that falls, but mud and rock from a great height. They fall and fall into a bottomless abyss. Behind the waterfall to the east lies a tunnel. To the west I see the edge of a forest. Beside the shore. The water wets my shoes all around me. To the north, something floats in the water. To the east, I can see the edge of a forest. Okay, I screwed up. Yourself. Go west. Go east. Go west. I stand among tall trees. They stare at me silently. They have found me guilty. I do not wish to stay here. Stay for a bit longer. One of the trees has fallen down. Its corpse lies on the dry sand, and the others mourn it. Its branches point now toward the shore. A bank of dense fog is forming there, emanating from the cliff. Walk towards the fog. The fog thins now. I can see something in the distance. It is Zyla, the land of fog. It is not a bay as the ancients wrote, but an island. There lie the answers that could have prevented what happened. But could anyone have anticipated it? Could anyone have known that my dearest visitor would result to be? And who would dare to cross the path now? Who would dare to look into the abyss of the spiral, knowing what would certainly come of it? I can tell you, only the foolish, the insane, or the suicidal. To the west. To the west. As soon as I approach, the figure darts between the rocks as though it were frightened of me. Go back. I'm on a beach. There is a huge rock here, and many birds circle the sky overhead. To the north, I see the shore. To the west, there is a bush. To the north. I stand beside the shore. The water wets my shoes, and all around me lie the wrecks of ships. To the north, something floats in the water. To the east, I can see the edge of the forest. A body floats in the water. I will not look upon its face. To the east. I stand beside a waterfall. Okay, the bottom's dead. Go. To the east. I am in a dark tunnel. Oscar is here as well. He is upset. He yells at me. He begs me to stop. The tunnel divides into many passages. I can go north, south, and west. Let's go south. The passage ends here. An empty cave. A big, round hole in the wall. Behind it, I can hear the sea. Go back. Let's go to the north then. I'm in a large open space with a piano. Something stands next to the piano. I can't see it clearly. Its face. The tunnel stretches into the dark. Walk down the tunnel. It is a very small room. In the center lies a deep pit. A ladder goes down. It is so dark. Down there, it lies. It waits. I will not continue. I must go back. Down the ladder. I cannot. I can hear it with me. Its breath. Dear God, I must flee. It waits for me. It waits down there. I have gone down the ladder. I cannot see. It is pitch dark. I can feel its breath. It is here. It is with me. Enough. We went too far, Manfred. You're right. I did not think he would react this way. You did well by stopping the trance, Kaufman. I think it would be best if we leave it for today. Let us return to the inn. Reflect tonight on what we have witnessed here. Tomorrow, let's discuss the next step in our investigation. January 21st, 1893. Come in. Kaufman, are you all right? Worry not, Wakefield. I am just feeling a bit feeble. It must be all this cold and humidity. Nothing serious. I would like to know your opinion about what we heard during yesterday's session. Do you remember anything that could help us in our research? I believe this underground tunnel has left a deep impression on Professor Wright's subconscious. I agree. The horror he experienced at the end of the session was far too intense to derive solely from his imagination. It speaks of some trauma. The sea was a recurring theme during the hypnotic regression. Yes, it is true. Maybe the entrance to this tunnel is somewhere closer to the coast. Throughout the trance, he saw an unknown figure with no visible face. The floating body in the water, the person near the rocks, the one beside the piano? Yes, indeed, but I am afraid it is too soon to unveil the true meaning of these images. Professor Wright mentioned a man that shouted at him near the entrance to the tunnel, begging him not to continue. I cannot remember his name. Very good. He was Oscar. We should attempt to find him. He may know something about Professor Wright's fears. If we can find this man, I am sure he will shed some light upon the mystery. Why don't you go to the village and try to find out something about Oscar? My apologies, but I must stay here and recover my strength.